Welcome to the BFT Chat with me, Norvan Acquah Hayford. This time we're in the insurance industry. We're speaking to Keli Gadzekpo, who is the Group CEO of Enterprise Insurance, or you say Enterprise Group. We are going to be talking about a new partnership that is going to be taking place. They are now partnering with Leapfrog, and which means that Sanlam Insurance is parting ways with them. BFT Chat. First of all, I can see that you're all smiling. There seems to be some lot of good news around. Can you share with us what is happening in regards to enterprise insurance now?
Well, thank you. Happy to share this kind of news. We are in the process of switching our strategic partnership from Sanlam Emerging Markets, which is a South African, actually one of the largest financial services groups in Africa, domiciled in South Africa. We're in the process of switching them out and bringing in a new strategic partner by name Leapfrog. Leapfrog is in partnership with Prudential Financial of the USA, which Prudential is one of these mega global players. But together, they've come together and they've approached us, and Leapfrog has taken the lead to make an investment, or rather to take over the role of Sanlam in enterprise.
You see, I know that Sanlam had shares, or the percentage, somewhere around 40.
Yes, they generally at about 40%, and then Enterprise Group Limited, EGL, is the balance of 60%.
60%. So this time out, is it all the 40 that is moving from Sanlam to Leapfrog, or less?
Actually, you ask a very good question, because it changes. So I'm going to go through and just let you know. In the case of our life business, Sanlam had 49, and EGL, which is Enterprise Group Limited, had 51. But after this transaction, Enterprise Group will increase its stake in the life business to 59, almost 60. Yeah, we have that much confidence in our business. In the case of the general business, it's 75. It used to be 60-40. It will become 75-25. In the case of the trustees or pensions business, it used to be 60-40. It will become 80-20. So you see, and then also our properties used to be 100% wholly owned subsidiary of the group. We are inviting our new partners to participate in that with us. So that will be 70-30. So apart from properties, all of them, we increase our stake in our operating companies.
Wow, very interesting. But let me ask, why do you want to say goodbye to Sanlam, an African-based company, and decide, okay, this time we're heading towards the
Wow.
aspect?
You ask the most probing questions, but I think there are several reasons. I'm going to try to touch on at least 3 really good ones. The driver of the need for change is that even though Sanlam, and we've been in partnership with them for over 12 years, they really have been great operational partners, meaning that in all the operations that they are partners in, we have no complaint about how we roll and how we do our thing. They've been great operational partners. However, we noticed about a year or so, 2 years ago, that we were beginning to diverge on the strategic level, looking forward into the future. The strategic level being, we at Enterprise have always had a strategy of going into West Africa and making our presence felt in West Africa. Sanlam has a similar strategy, except they were not inclined to go it together with us. So that really, I think, is what set the stage for saying, okay, it's time for us to go to the next level. but we have this difficulty with our partner. So we initiated the discussions, and fortunately, we had very good discussions because they agreed with us, or we agreed with each other. And 18 months after, here we are. We found common ground, and everybody's actually quite pleased.
So very soon they're going to become your competitors within the sub-region, let me put it that way.
Absolutely.
Wow. Let's see. What does Leapfrog brings on board, and in terms of your drive to expand, that you think that they are the best to have picked? I'm sure you may be approached by other companies who were interested in also partnering with you, but you chose Leapfrog.
Yes. Yes. Couple of things. Starting with the fact that Leapfrog, and they're a private equity outfit. Leapfrog, bar none, have done quantitatively more insurance industry transactions in West Africa than anybody. So they know the players, they know the lay of the land, and indeed, they know enterprise very well. So by the time they were approaching us because they know our strategy, and they could speak to that strategy. They have a depth of insurance industry contacts. For example, you heard me say that this particular investment with Leapfrog is being done in conjunction with Prudential of USA. Now, Prudential of USA is just like a mega global player in insurance and pensions and properties. So that kind of access which Leapfrog offers us is entirely very attractive, and will be attractive to just about any serious player in the insurance space. You know, and this would be effectively, to my mind, Prudential's first serious look-see into Africa.
Well, because even though we've seen, when we talk of minority shareholders being able to pull strings and then even get companies to change their name, is this going to affect that line in terms of enterprise insurance? When do we wake up and we hear it is another company?
Oh, no. The arrangement does not go in that direction. Obviously, like you said, they are not only are they minority, but that's not, enterprise maintains its identity, enterprise maintains a name. Enterprise, indeed, what even makes this more interesting is that enterprise gets to begin to spread its wings and introduce our partners, Leapfrog and Prudential, into parts of Africa, but using the enterprise name. So it's really a win-win for us.
One of the things that most workers get jittery about when there are partners coming into a company has to do with layoffs. Would we lose our jobs? Would this affect anything? Are we going to see these things? We've seen this over the years with a lot of companies.
Not at all.
Some have even said, look, you know what? There will not be layoffs. 2 years down the line, then you hear, oh, we need to do some changes or restructuring.
No. In the first instance, think of this transaction as a replacement of your copy. Not of the engine, not of the car. You're not changing the car. You're not even dealing with the passengers in the back seat. It's merely a replacement of the copy. So Sanlam out and Leapfrog in. That's the end. Now, what are the ramifications? It's a story of growth, of growing, of scaling up. So if anything at all, we're going to be looking to attract more numbers, more talent, more capacity, not whittling down on what we have. So it's not even part of the narrative.
So your staff can go to sleep and know that nothing of such.
Not only that, they need to be going to sleep dreaming of how they are going to do more and be bigger and better. That's what this is about. That's why I'm so excited. It is really a seminal transaction. Not only the staff either, the shareholders. By the process of the pricing, the price that Leapfrog are paying to Sanlam for the shares it moves the valuation of enterprise from a market capitalization on the Ghana Stock Exchange of less than 40 million to a potential valuation of $250 million.
Wow, which means that I have to be thinking of getting some shares in your company.
I would think so. I would think so if you like value.
All right, now let's look at, they are coming at a time when insurance penetration in the country, 2% or even less, because there's always an argument of, are we at 2, are we above 2, are we below 2 when it comes to this. How are we going to see the new enterprise group play a role in ensuring that we can penetrate more, get Ghanaians to love insurance, or people within the sub-region to love insurance, to want to take products?
Absolutely. One of the things we were looking out for in our partners was their ability to access the informal sector. And I must say that there is a secret weapon that will be deployed. And it addresses particularly the issue of insurance penetration in informal settings, because our partners have extensive experience in Latin America, in Japan in the early days, was it immediately following the Second World War and the like. These are people who come to the table having used all the mechanisms that you can use to penetrate informal economies. So we're looking for it. It's one of the things we're looking out for.
One of the challenges that people face, I mean, when it comes to the reason why people don't like to take insurance is claims payment. and I think that when you do a quick run survey where you're just talking to about 10, 15 people, you end up with 10 of them out of the 15 saying that I have challenges with claims payment. And that is why I think that instead of putting my money in insurance, let me rather go and put the money somewhere when I have a problem, then go and take it.
Yes. But I bet you out of the 10 people, you won't get one of them saying that problem is with enterprise. Our claim to fame in this market, our solid reputation, is based purely on claims, or largely on claims. Because what is the purpose of insurance? Insurance is meant to mitigate your risk so that at the hour of need, your insurance company stands in the gap, stands for you. That is the conversation about insurance. With all these ties we wear and all these forms people fill, that's the bottom line of insurance. And enterprise, that's our DNA. We know why you come to us. So when you need us, we are there for you all the time.
Okay, so you talk of the informal sector saying you have a secret weapon, because we know that even the National Insurance Commission, that's the regulator itself, over the years have come up with a lot of regulations to help you, the insurance companies, come up with products to be able to attract customers of Greek insurance. We've seen lots of products brought out by insurance companies, but the problem is the people are not taking it. What is it?
Well, one of the things that we as operators in the industry need to do better is coming up with relevant, and maybe if I can call it, simple products. We've led a few initiatives like that, like the funeral. Today in Ghana, all the companies are selling funeral plans.
Myself, I have a product.
There you go, from enterprise, hopefully.
Oh, of course.
I hope so, for your own sake, because we are the pioneers of that. And I can add one or two more, but suffice it to say that that challenge rests largely with the operators, with the insurance companies. And I think that he who is able to innovate in a relevant manner will win the hill. And that's what we want to do here at Enterprise.
So if I ask you, what is your impression generally of our industry, what would you say?
Of the insurance industry?
Exactly.
I think there are several linkages ranging from the individual and the benefits all the way to the macro economy. And by that I mean capital formation, ability to mobilize large sums of money to do serious development work, infrastructure, construction. I mean, that is what insurance companies represent in mature or developed economies. Insurance starts from being relevant in the home, where somebody nicks your car, you get it fixed so that it doesn't become a burden on you because you've been paying your premium, all the way through to funeral policies, for example, to retirement, to pensions, you know, all, or group life rather, all the way through to where, because of the pool of premiums, the insurance companies are able to use that money in constructive, beneficial ways for the economy itself. So when you go to most places, and even if you look at the skyline of most capitals, the tallest buildings, the nicest buildings are generally mostly owned by insurance companies because they invest their pool of capital in the economy. And that really is the relevance of insurance. So we do the full value chain from the retail, the individual, all the way through till we impact the macroeconomy itself. So that's why I think insurance is hugely important.
Okay, now let's look at capitalization for both insurance companies and the capital market and those areas. I mean, we've seen the regulator talk about recapitalization. They have increased various minimum capital requirement that is needed for you to set up insurance. Do you think that at this time that we find ourselves, we should even consider increasing it more to allow for insurance companies in this country to become that, let me use a very simple word, stable and enough to be able to engage in the kind of transactions, especially the heavy ones, because you talk about construction. These are huge kind of investments that need to be made when it comes to going into those areas, not to talk of the oil and gas sector.
Yeah.
Not even taking better advantage.
Well, you've answered the question. If we are going to be serious about the role of insurance, particularly in the macro economy, then we need to have insurance companies that have the balance sheet that can take the risk. And by taking the risk, I mean your balance sheet, if it's the bigger the balance sheet, the more risk you can take. And the more risk you can take, the more premiums you can keep for yourself. See, if I take money from you to assure you of mitigating a certain risk, when you come, I should be able to pay you so that your risk is mitigated. If I take that money, but my balance sheet will not be able to support me to cover your risk if it should happen, the prudent thing, therefore, for me to do is go into what we call the reinsurance market or co-insure with somebody. But really, it's about reinsurance. So I take your premium, and then I turn around and give a certain percentage of your premium to somebody else, a reinsurer, who has a much bigger, stronger balance sheet, so that when the whistle blows and there's trouble, I go back to them and say, the man who, remember I gave you the premium? Well, here's the problem. Can I get money too? And if your balance sheet is not big enough, then it means that you are going to be giving up more of your premium. So then it's almost like you're going round. You collect the premium, but you can't keep it because your balance sheet is too small, so we give it to, and usually the reinsurance companies are even offshore companies. So then the question becomes, how do we encourage our insurance companies to build strong enough balance sheets so that they can participate, they can get the premiums and participate, particularly in the big ticket things like construction, infrastructure development, oil and gas. Yes, that's where we should get to.
So should that lead to the regulator increasing the...
Oh, I imagine that if the regulator doesn't do it, the individual companies ought to be doing it themselves. But yes, there should be a minimum so that people don't merely collect premiums and pass them on. There should be, and particularly so that people can also meet the obligations.
Being economical, let me then put the question this way. Should we then see measures among the insurance companies? Because some people even go ahead and say that too many insurance companies
Well, I think once the minimum capital is announced, you will begin to see things like measures, because either you have the money to bring into the business, or you merge with somebody to get a bigger balance sheet. It's that simple. So yeah, when they announce it, I expect. But you see, my point about this minimum capital thing is that, look, why are you even going to wait for the regulator? We are not waiting at Enterprise. We're just on the cusp of raising $50 million, which is several times the requirement of the minimum capital for insurance in Ghana. Because we see opportunity. We see opportunity in the emerging business groupings, oil and gas, infrastructure. We want to be there. So I would implore my colleagues in the industry to do the same. We need to up our game in Ghana.
Some have said that, I mean, in terms of raising capital, some of the rules, especially when it comes to going on the stock exchange, the rules are so tight, and so it makes it difficult. Or the ordinary Ghanaian man, businessman says, so why should I go there? I will try and see what I can do to be able to do that. Would you advise people to even consider? Because people don't want to give it out anyway.
Well, obviously, you know, if you are not willing to share risk, it means that everything is on your head. And if you trip, the whole thing falls. But if you share the risk through avenues like the stock exchange, or even broad shareholdings, which may not be stock exchange, but over-the-counter type, but with more people in the shareholding, you are spreading your risk. And you're also opening up so that transparency and the way you do business will propel your own business forward. There are so many success stories of companies that come to the exchange. And I think it's a bit of a myth when people worry about losing their company. It suggests that either you don't understand how it works, or you really simply just are not ready to grow the business.
I see. Okay. Now, whilst we try to wrap up from where we find ourselves, you have been able to raise this capital, but not even from the local market. Do you think that there's lack of liquidity in the system, and that's how come?
No, there isn't. As for that one, I say it. We are now in a system that a capital formation is growing. And on the back of that, the easier one to identify is the pensions industry. See, some years ago, we did not have, let's call it, Tier 2. SNIT was the only person in the pension space. Ever since the pension reforms and the new law, you have any number of players, and you have a band called Tier 2 pensions, which individuals actually pay into and is managed by private entities. That band, that level of capital didn't used to be available at all. And now it's available. The liquidity situation in Ghana is getting much better. And it can only get better because, as you know, with pension, it keeps growing and growing.
Is that an area that you're looking to increase your...
Absolutely. We already have a footprint through our trustee companies, and we're very excited about that business. It is a business, it's a very serious business because people are putting their future into your hands. And for us, we like it like that because it allows us to prove who we are as enterprise when you need us most.
What's the new thing that people should expect from you now that you've been able to raise, or you're going to be getting all this capital and all that? What's the one thing that your customers or your people who patronize your products should expect?
We want to be relevant to our customers from cradle to grave, i.e., we want to be in your house because you want us there, because you've tasted what we have to offer, and you can see where, walking with us, we can do the whole life journey with you. That's the kind of thing we want. So it's not a product. We're not interested in a product. We want to be a part of your journey through life.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kenya.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Well, that's how we end another edition of the BFT Chat. This time we've been speaking to Keli Gadzekpo, the Group CEO for Enterprise Insurance. Join us again next time. We'll bring you another superb interview. My name is Norvan Acquah Hayford. Goodbye.